First story. My daughter mistakenly accused my brother of assault, so I physically assaulted him and called the cops on him. It's been 3 years, and he is still holding a grudge against my daughter, refusing to reconcile or talk to her. Now he refuses to attend my daughter's 16th birthday party, breaking my daughter's heart. I don't know where else to turn anymore. It's been years, but the weight of everything hasn't lifted, not for me, not for my daughter, and certainly not for my brother. I thought time might heal us, but here we are, and the rift feels as deep as ever. I've tried. Believe me, I have, but I don't think I can fix this alone. 3 years ago, my family was ripped apart in a way I never saw coming. My daughter Lily, who was 13 at the time, accused my brother Jake of saying her. When she told me, it felt like my world stopped. She came into my room late one night, crying so hard I could barely understand her at first. When she finally got the words out, I remember feeling this rush of anger, fear, and a fierce need to protect her. You hear about these things happening in other families, but when it's your child saying those words, you don't think logically. You just react. And I did. I confronted Jake the very next day. We were at a family barbecue of all places, and I dragged him into the kitchen. I was shaking so hard, I could barely get the words out. He looked at me like I was speaking a foreign language, and when I told him what Lily said, he froze. I still remember the exact look on his face: shock, confusion, then hurt. He said, "You don't actually believe this, do you?" But I did. In that moment, I believed every word Lily had said. My daughter wouldn't lie about something so serious, would she? I slapped him. I didn't even think about it, I just did it. I told him to leave, to get out of our house, and never come near Lily again. My parents were in the other room, and came running in, confused and panicked. But I didn't care about their questions. I told Jake I was calling the cops, and I did. I can't describe what those weeks were like after the police got involved. My parents were heartbroken, trying to wrap their heads around the idea that their son could have done something so horrible, while Jake swore up and down that he was innocent. The rest of the family didn't know what to believe. And me. I was just trying to hold myself together for Lily. She seemed so fragile, so scared, and I thought I was doing the right thing by standing by her. But then everything started to fall apart. The investigation dragged on, and there was no evidence, nothing to support Lily's claim. Jake had an alibi for the day she claimed it happened. And even though I wanted to believe her, little cracks started to show. One night, about 6 months after it all began, Lily came to me sobbing. She couldn't even look me in the eye at first. Then she said, "Mom, I lied." I didn't understand at first. I thought she meant she was confused, or that maybe she'd exaggerated something. But she kept going. She said Jake didn't do anything to her, that it was all made up. She'd been angry at him after a family fight. They'd argued about her attitude, I think, and her new friends, these older girls she'd been hanging out with, told her to get back at him by saying something that would ruin him. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I wanted to scream at her, to demand why she would do something like this, but she was hysterical. She said she didn't think it would go this far, that she didn't realize how much damage it would cause. I didn't know whether to hold her or push her away. The police closed the case after that. Jake was officially cleared, but the damage was already done. He lost his job during the investigation. His boss didn't outright fire him, but they suggested he resign. His reputation was in tatters. People talked, and no matter what the truth was, the stink of those accusations lingered. Jake didn't yell or scream when the truth came out. I think part of me wanted him to unload all the anger and betrayal I knew he felt. Instead, he just looked at me, his face so calm it was terrifying, and said, "You believed her. Without even talking to me, you believed her." Then he walked out. Since then, it's like he's disappeared into a shell. He moved to a new apartment across town, and barely speaks to anyone in the family. He won't talk to Lily at all, and every time I try to call him, he reminds me that he's recording the conversation. I get it, I don't blame him for not trusting me anymore. But it still hurts. Lily has been struggling too. She lost her friends after everything came out. Kids at school bullied her for being a liar. She's been in therapy ever since, and while she's made progress, the guilt eats at her. She was just a kid when it happened, a kid who made a horrible mistake under bad influences, but she's still paying for it. We all are. I thought time would soften Jake's heart, that he'd eventually come around. But 3 years later, he's as distant as ever, and I'm starting to lose hope. Lily's 16th birthday is coming up, and instead of being excited about the milestone, all she talks about is wanting to fix things with Jake. She says she doesn't care about the gifts or the party. She just wants her uncle back in her life. I can see the weight of it on her shoulders every day. It's like a shadow that follows her everywhere. She's always been a sensitive child, and I know what happened has changed her. She told me once that she has nightmares about the moment Jake found out the truth, that devastated look in his eyes. She's still haunted by the fact that her lie had such a profound impact on someone she loved. She asked me to help her write a letter to Jake. It wasn't an easy process. She was sobbing as she tried to find the words to apologize. In the end, she wrote about how much she missed him, how she regretted what she'd done, and how deeply sorry she was for the pain she caused. She wanted him to come to her birthday party so she could apologize in person. I wasn't sure if it was a good idea, but I also knew how much it meant to her. I decided to call Jake and explain how she felt. I thought if I could just get him to listen, he might soften a little. But the conversation didn't go the way I hoped. He was polite but distant, as always. It was clear from the start that he wasn't open to the idea. I tried to explain that Lily was just a child when it happened, that she had been under bad influences and didn't fully understand the gravity of her actions. I even told him about how much she's struggled since then, losing friends, getting bullied at school, and battling guilt every single day. But he didn't seem moved. He reminded me of everything he had lost because of what happened. He said he still felt like people looked at him with suspicion, even though he'd been cleared of any wrongdoing. I could hear the pain in his voice, even though he was trying to keep it controlled. I didn't know how to respond because, in so many ways, he's right. I did stand by Lily through the whole ordeal, and in doing so, I didn't give him the benefit of the doubt. I reacted impulsively and believed the worst of him without even giving him a chance to defend himself. I've apologized for that countless times, but I know it doesn't undo the damage. After that call, I felt completely defeated. I had to tell Lily that her uncle wouldn't be coming to her party, and seeing the heartbreak on her face was almost too much to bear. She nodded and said she understood, but I could see the tears welling up in her eyes. She's been carrying this guilt for so long, and I know she's desperate to make things right. The rest of the family has tried to help, but it hasn't made much of a difference. My parents have pleaded with Jake to let go of the past and rebuild the relationship, but he's made it clear that he wants nothing to do with Lily or me, for that matter. He's polite when he speaks to them, but there's a distance there that wasn't there before. Some relatives think he's being too harsh, that it's unfair to hold a grudge against a teenage girl for a mistake she made under bad influences. But others say they understand why he's keeping his distance, that the hurt he experienced isn't something you can just brush off. I feel caught in the middle, torn between supporting my daughter and understanding my brother's need for boundaries. I've been trying to hold everything together, but it's exhausting. The guilt I feel for what happened is overwhelming at times. I acted out of love for my daughter, but in doing so, I destroyed my relationship with my brother. And now, watching Lily struggle with the fallout, it's hard not to wonder if I could have handled things differently. Lily says she'll keep trying to make amends, but I don't know if Jake will ever be ready to forgive her or me. I can't force him to let go of his pain, but it's heartbreaking to see how much this is affecting Lily. She was just a child when it happened, but she's not that same person anymore. She's grown so much in the past 3 years, and I wish Jake could see that. I know I can't fix this for her, but I wish I could. I wish I could go back to that day and handle everything differently. But all I can do now is hope that someday, somehow, Jake will find it in his heart to forgive her. TLDR, 3 years ago, my daughter falsely accused my brother of Saw when she was 13. I reacted impulsively, believing her and cutting ties with my brother, only to find out later that the accusation was a lie. While my brother was cleared, the damage was done. He's distanced himself from the family and refuses to speak to my daughter or me. Now, as her 16th birthday approaches, my daughter is struggling with guilt and wants to apologize and reconcile. But my brother refuses to budge. I feel torn between supporting my daughter and understanding my brother's pain, and I don't know how to fix this. Comments. Comment 1. Wow, the audacity here is next level. You called the cops, slapped your brother, and essentially helped ruin his life without a shred of proof. But now you think he's being too harsh for not forgiving your little mistake. Are you serious? Being under bad influences doesn't excuse what your daughter did, and you playing the "she's just a child" card only makes you look worse. She wasn't too young to understand that accusing someone of Saw would destroy their life. Jake is setting boundaries to protect himself, something you should have done for him instead of jumping to conclusions. Honestly, you're lucky he even takes your calls. Comment 2. Yes, the classic, it's time to forgive and forget routine, except the person who actually lost everything isn't the one asking for forgiveness. You're so concerned about Lily's guilt and feelings, but where was that concern for Jake when you dragged his name through the mud? You want him to forget the job he lost, the people who still look at him sideways, and the family that turned their back on him. All because a teenager threw a tantrum. Newsflash, Jake doesn't owe you or Lily closure. Maybe instead of pushing him to fix your daughter's mess, you should focus on teaching her that some things can't be undone with an apology and a birthday cake. Brother's response. My sister's post about me is full of half-truths. Here's what really happened. So, I've been lurking on this sub for a while. And what do I stumble across today? A post from my dear sister spilling her version of the story. The one where I'm apparently the villain for not bending over backwards to forgive her, and her little angel for accusing me of being a effing predator. Well, I guess it's my turn to clear the air, isn't it? To anyone reading this, I don't care if you think it's fake or not. This post isn't for validation or sympathy. It's for me, because I've spent the last 3 years eating SHT while they played the victim, and I'm done staying quiet. Let's lay it all out. 3 years ago, I got blindsided with one of the most disgusting accusations a person can face. My niece, Lily, who was 13 at the time, told my sister her mum that I sought her. I was completely floored. Do you know what it's like to have someone accuse you of something so vile? Tease like your whole life detonates in 1 second. Did my sister pause for a second to ask me what the F was going on? Nope. She came at me guns blazing, slapped me in front of our parents, screamed at me, called the cops, and basically torched my life in a single afternoon. I can still hear her yelling, "Get the F out," like I was some kind of monster. And let's not forget the months of hell that followed. The cops interrogated me, neighbors whispered, and friends ghosted me. People I thought had my back gave me the stink eye like I was some creep who belonged on a registry. I even lost my job because my boss didn't want the bad optics. Guess what? Even when you're cleared, the damage doesn't magically go away. Eventually, the truth came out. Lily admitted she lied. She made the whole thing up because we had a fight, and she was pissed off. Apparently, her SHTTY friends gave her the brilliant idea to get back at me by accusing me of being a pedophile. And do you know what I got from my sister when it all came out? A half-arsed apology and a bunch of excuses. She's just a child. She was under bad influences. You have to understand, I was scared for her. Bullshit. You don't get to destroy someone's life and then act like oopsie, my bad fixes everything. My sister didn't give a damn about my side of the story when it mattered. She went straight to DEFCON 1 without even talking to me. And now she's crying about how hard all of this has been for her and Lily. Cry me a effing river. Here's what she didn't mention. I lost everything. My job, gone. My reputation, shredded. People still look at me like a monster, even though I was proven innocent. There's no coming back from something like this. Even if the law clears you, people remember the accusation, not the truth. I had friends who cut me off without so much as a phone call. A girl I was dating dumped me because she needed time to think, and never came back. I had neighbors avoiding me, like I was some kind of plague. You don't recover from that kind of SHT, and I'm still picking up the pieces. My parents. Oh, they're a piece of work. Ever since the truth came out, they've been pushing me to move on and be the bigger person. They've told me countless times that Lily was just a kid, that she didn't understand what she was doing, and that I should forgive her because family is everything. They've even accused me of being cold for not coming to family gatherings. Are you effing kidding me? Where was all this energy when I was being treated like a criminal? Where was the concern for me when my life was going up in flames? Now I'm the bad guy because I won't sit down for a nice family dinner and pretend everything's fine. Screw that. Since my sister conveniently left some things out of her post, let me fill in the blanks. This wasn't some isolated incident of Lily acting out. She's been manipulative for years, and my sister has enabled it every step of the way. When Lily was younger, she'd throw these massive tantrums whenever she didn't get her way, and my sister would cave every single time. She never disciplined her, never taught her that actions have consequences. And this whole bad influences excuse. Please. Lily's been hanging around SHTTY kids for years because my sister couldn't be bothered to pay attention to who her daughter was spending time with. She's always been more focused on being the cool mom than actually, parenting. But sure, let's act like Lily is the victim here. Let's ignore the fact that she ruined someone's life and walked away with nothing more than a slap on the wrist. Let me be crystal clear. I'm done with both of them. I don't care how sorry Lily is or how much therapy she's been to. Some things can't be undone with an apology. I've set my boundaries, and I'm sticking to them. I don't want her letters. I don't want her apologies. And I sure as hell don't want to sit across from her at a birthday party like nothing happened. To my sister, stop trying to guilt trip me into fixing this for you. To anyone who thinks I'm being too harsh, walk a mile in my shoes, lose your job, your friends, and your peace of mind because someone lied about you, and then tell me how forgiving you feel. You don't get to burn someone's life down and then complain that the ashes are inconvenient for you. End of story. Second story. My dad died, and my mom is sleeping with a younger guy from his team who my dad treated like his son. Now this guy trying to replace my dad and his legacy. I'm 28M from a small town in northern Sweden, the kind of place where everyone knows each other, and most families have lived here for generations. My dad was a bit of a local legend, well-liked, respected, and someone people could rely on. For over 30 years, he volunteered as the equipment manager for our local amateur soccer team, without pay, purely out of love for the game and the team. Back in the day, he even played on the team himself. You could count the games he missed on one hand. My mum 52F works as a journalist for a local newspaper and covers everything from politics to sports. She would sometimes come to the games, especially if she was writing an article, but she never had the same passion for it that my dad did. 6 months ago, the team got a new player, a guy 25M from Somalia. Our sports manager met him during a trip to Africa and recruited him. He wasn't a professional, but he was one of the best players the team had in a while. My dad liked him a lot, and after wins, he would take the whole team to McDonald's, treating all the players like they were his kids, including this new guy. Then, about 4 months ago, everything changed. My dad passed away suddenly. Losing him was a shock for my mum and me, and the whole town mourned him. So many people showed up at his funeral, it felt like the entire town was there. Even the soccer team held a moment of silence and dedicated a tribute to him at the next game. It was a beautiful send-off and felt like the right farewell. After he was gone, my mum started attending the games more often, finding some kind of comfort there. She also started working on a project about the team's history, interviewing several players, including the Somali guy. Eventually, I started to notice things. I'd often see this guy around my mum's neighborhood. Sometimes I'd see him leaving the area or jogging nearby. At first, I didn't think much of it, but over time, it started to bother me. He was around way too often. A few weeks ago, during fall break, I went with my wife and kids to visit her family in southern Sweden. A few days later, I got a call from my best friend. He sounded hesitant and almost uncomfortable, which made me worried. Then he told me something that completely shocked me. Apparently, he had seen this guy from the soccer team leaving my mum's house. I was stunned and couldn't believe what I was hearing. I refused to believe. When I got back home after the break, I was still just as confused and worried. A few nights later, I was on my way to visit my mum. But when I arrived and saw the house in the dark, I had a sudden impulse to stay out of sight. I crept around to the back, carefully made my way through the garden, and moved towards the windows at the back of the house. When I looked through the living room window, I saw something that made my heart stop. My mum was sitting on the couch, snuggled up with that guy from the team. They were leaning into each other, and it was clear they were cozying up together. The sight froze me in place, and everything inside me just twisted. The shock and betrayal. I don't even know how I got home. I've cried more in the past week than I thought was possible. I can't wrap my head around it. This is the same guy my dad had welcomed into the team and treated like a son. Imagining him in my dad's house, with my mum, feels like a violation of everything my dad built, everything he loved. I feel sick, like my dad's memory has been tarnished, disrespected, and he's probably turning in his grave. I haven't spoken to my mum since then. I feel like she disrespected my dad's memory, and so did the guy. I'm devastated. Comments. Fansen Aknapens. Do you feel this way because of the timing? How much time has passed since your father died, and this discovery? Is it also because of the age difference? OP. Honestly, it's everything, from the timing to the very inappropriate age gap. This also feels deeply disrespectful to my dad's memory. He was a huge fan of this team, something that was really special to him and to us as a family. To see someone step into this role in his absence, especially with such a big emotional connection to my dad, feels like a betrayal on so many levels. I'm just shocked that this is happening so soon, and that she's with this guy in specific. Leatherfew 233. OP, grief is personal, and your mum deserves privacy and respect as she copes in her own way. Sneaking around and judging her choices is invasive and unfair. It's not your place, or anyone else's, to dictate how she should grieve. OP. This is about respect for my late father, my family, and my mum's integrity. My mum is an accomplished, intelligent, strong, attractive, and beautiful woman who has worked hard her entire life. The guy is a selfish opportunist who crossed boundaries by getting involved with the widow of a man who treated him well and was part of the soccer team. That's not just disgraceful, it's predatory. Stop defending him. Update 2 months later. And I wish I could say things have gotten better. They haven't. I 28M haven't been able to look my mom 52F in the eye since I caught her wrapped around that guy 25F. The same guy my dad treated like a son. The same guy my dad would have given his last coin to. The same guy who is now disrespecting my dad's memory and insulting his legacy. I stayed away for weeks, trying to process everything, but eventually I caved. I wanted to see if things had fizzled out. I had hoped that my mother would eventually realize how messed up this situation was. Not only is he still around, but he's practically moved in. His shoes are by the door. His jacket is on the rack. When I walked in, I could smell his cologne in the hallway. He's been living with my mom in the house for almost 2 months now. Mom seems unbothered by the age gap and how inappropriate it is. She's happy. Lighter than I've seen her in years. She talks about him like he's some kind of gift from the universe. As if being with him wasn't enough. My mom, who writes for the local paper, wrote a whole article about his life and sports journey. She even included a quote from my dad, like he'd have approved of all this. It felt like she was turning him into the town's new legend. The last straw was Christmas. I showed up to try to have a normal family dinner, pretending everything was fine. But when I got there, he was already sitting at my dad's chair, at my family's table, laughing, eating, like he had won some grand prize. And maybe he has, because my mom loves him. The team loves him. I'm the only one who can't stand him, and I doubt I ever will. This is tough. Third story. Entitled Mill snoops through my stuff and complains I spend all of her son's money, even though I spend my own money. And my mama's boy allows his mother. So I broke up with my boyfriend. My boyfriend's mom seems to hate me, and it's been really hard to deal with. I'm 22, and my boyfriend is 26. We've been together for 9 months, and I moved into his apartment after 3 months of dating. His parents live in a different house, just 30 minutes away from his apartment. His mom visits often, but whenever she does, she completely ignores me or barely talks to me. I've tried to be nice and friendly, but she only gives me one-word answers or acts cold. Today, I made spaghetti from scratch, and my boyfriend loved it. Even his dad said it was good, but his mom refused to eat. When they asked her to at least try it, she got angry. I told them it's fine and not to force her, but it still hurt. She also acts like the apartment is hers, going through every room, including our closet and drawers. I know she's his mom, but I wish she would respect our privacy. She also complains that I spend too much of my boyfriend's money on dresses and heels, which isn't true because I pay for my own things. When I bring up how she treats me to my boyfriend, he just brushes it off, saying, "Don't mind her. She's always like that." When I asked him, "Did your mom treat your ex the same way?" he said he didn't want to talk about his past relationships. My boyfriend talks a lot about having kids with me, but I don't think I can handle being a part of this family. I'm afraid that if we have a baby, his mother will treat our child badly too. Should I end things with him? He's a really good, funny, and gentle guy, but his mom is a big problem. Comments. Rich Caterpillar 991. The biggest problem here is that your boyfriend won't stand up for you and tell his mom to treat you with respect. Also, does he stand up for you when she claims that you're spending all his money, even though it's not true? Also, he needs to tell her to stop snooping around your house. OP. He does tell his mom sometimes not to speak to me that way, but then she stops talking to him, and he feels like he has to make her happy again. Whenever she opens our closet and sees my dresses and skirts, she complains that I spend a lot of her son's money. When I tell her that I bought those clothes myself, and that some were from promotions, she just rolls her eyes. Clark Zerzan 1. That pretty much means he's willing to allow his mother to belittle you just so he can keep the peace. Good grief 125. Well, to be frank, this relationship is doomed. He doesn't care about you enough to stand up to you. And even if you threaten to break up, and then he decides to actually address the issue, it doesn't matter. Because why did he wait for an ultimatum? Why did he even wait until you brought it up, instead of being proactive? He should have stopped his mother when he saw her acting this way. His mother going to her adult son's apartment while he's in a relationship and snooping is not normal. Her being this cold towards you also isn't normal. Maybe she's a boy mom, and you need to leave ASAP. Just because her being disrespectful is normal doesn't mean you need to accept being disrespected. And bringing up having kids when you've only been together for 9 months is wild. And if you're going to say the relationship is great otherwise, I can guarantee you it is not. He's a mama's boy. He will also choose her instead of you. You like him. Maybe you will even grow to love him. But he will never match energy with you. Update. 1 day later. So, like many of you suggested, I searched up enmeshment and watched a few YouTube videos. Some of you DM'd me about mommy's boys. It was eye-opening and disgusting. I can't imagine a future where his mother constantly intervenes in our lives. Like some of you pointed out, there's even a chance she could turn my future children against me if things stay the same. I want my kids to grow up in a happy, healthy environment. After reading hundreds of your responses, I decided to talk to my boyfriend. I showed him this post, like a few of you suggested, and let him read the comments. He only got through one or two before getting defensive and angry. He said I was being too overdramatic and insisted his mom wasn't doing anything wrong. He even said she only comes over because she cares about him, and even accused me of being jealous because my parents aren't as involved in my life as his mom is in his. I got upset and told him, just because she's your mom doesn't mean she can come into our home, open our closets and drawers, and invade our privacy. How would you feel if I brought my parents here and let them go through your laptop, phone, and closet? He got even more irritated and accused me of intentionally trying to piss him off. Then he sarcastically told me to go ahead and bring my family over to do the same thing. I also brought up how his mom constantly judges my clothes and accuses me of spending his money, even though I pay for my own things. I said, "You don't even bother to defend me or correct her." He said, "These aren't serious issues. You're just making them into a big deal because you want to fight with me. Are you on your period or something?" I got mad and said, "Are you serious right now? Just because I'm upset about your mom's behavior, you're assuming I'm on my period. Is that really how little you think of me?" He laughed like a fake laugh and said, "Calm down. I'll make you your favorite Missy Carbonara." He was so irritating, and I told him, "I wonder what bad things your mom says about me to other people. Who knows, maybe you even join in with her to mock me, just because I don't understand your language." He's Italian. He didn't even respond and just walked into the kitchen. I followed him and said, "You don't even care to see my side of things. If your mom doesn't change her behavior, I'm breaking up with you. I deserve better than this, and I can find another man who's much better than you." That's when he stopped and came to me and grabbed my arm and told me to stop talking about breaking up. He said he loves me too much to let me go, and even said his mother loves me too, but she's not showing it, which honestly felt like a joke considering how she's treated me. He promised to talk to his mom, set boundaries, and make sure she respects me moving forward. He also said he wouldn't allow her to go through our room again. For now, I'm staying with him, but if he doesn't follow through, I'll seriously end things. Edit. I've been getting bombarded with DMs saying I'm making a mistake and that I'm foolish for staying, so I just want to say sorry. When he said, he loves me too much to let me go, and he even said other sweet words to me and kissed me, I genuinely thought he meant it in a loving way and didn't see it as a red flag. But after reading all of your responses, I realize now that I was blind to it. I'll be leaving him when he goes to work. Comments. Terror 1 Blepperson. I second, dip now. Luxuribast. Yeah, I mean, there are red flags all over the place, without even bringing in the mum. He grabbed her arm. Told her not to talk about breaking up. Told her he loves her too much to let her go. That on top of the gaslighting, I'll go as far as to say OP is already in an abusive relationship and needs to get out of there. Not your effing problem dismissed her emotions and concerns with, are you on your period? He doesn't even respect OP. Jamano Alexander Lady. He grabbed your arm. I'm saying this as a man. Grab your SHT and leave. Do not announce SHT until you are out. Beautiful _ pizza 9-882. The whole, he loves her too much to let her go, is what got me. That's terrifying. OP. At that moment when he said that, I thought he really did love me and didn't see it as a red flag. But now, reading all of your responses saying it's a red flag and terrifying, it's making me realize how stupid I was. Mythisigdrasil 1D992. My ex told me this statement, and when I did leave, he beat me so badly I miscarried. Be gone before he comes home. Text him you're done. Then block him, his mum, and his friends/family. And never go back. Thank you for watching the video. If you are interested in listening to these kinds of stories, we've got more in store for you. Simply subscribe to our channel, hit the like button, and share it with your friends.